As we were mentioning, Jim, the Raiders have really dominated things so far in the first few minutes of the fourth quarter, primarily with the hard work at the offensive end, getting the offensive rebound and keeping control of the ball, and they have capitalized on their extra opportunities. Temple knocked down a three-pointer. Nella hit a big bucket. And now, after a fast break, Brian Lee, who converted on the layup, converts on the three-point play as well, and the lead now stands at 18 points.
And Brian Lee unofficially, again for North Farmington, has 11 points. So he's had himself quite a night off the bench for the Raiders. We've seen that before from Brian also. As he had a big night, I believe, against Birmingham Seaholm earlier in the season for North, as we see Temple come down and convert. I believe that was an overtime victory North had against Seaholm, that Lee had some big three-pointers for North. Temple now with 15, which is right about at his season average, as North opens up a 20-point lead. And Farmington right now, Steve, just can't seem to do anything right, as Jay Jensen is called for traveling.
Well, I was just about to mention, Fitzpatrick obviously having a big game on offense, but North Farmington has really shut down the Falcons on the offensive end. And one of the unsung heroes, I would say, for the Raiders tonight would be Pulowski. Pulowski has at least 3 blocks, maybe more. And whenever you're knocking the ball away from the basket like Pulowski is tonight, you're really disrupting things. And it's making it very difficult for the Falcons to drive the ball to the lane with any type of confidence when they know they're going up against Pulowski.
And he's also kept offensive rebounds alive, as we've seen on several occasions. So you're right, perhaps Pulowski doesn't get enough mention for his scoring ability, but he's done a lot of things that have helped influence this game quite a bit. We see Temple running the point as North is in no hurry now with a 18-point lead and 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to play, as Pinella drives the lane, finds a seam, and scores it from the corner of the free throw line. Dean Pinella starting to heat up for North. He has 6, I believe.
What a difference when the Raiders are playing with confidence and they're looking for the shot and shooting the ball, knowing that it's going to go in. I mean, I saw him play at Plymouth Canton, and they put in a great effort. However, they just felt that they were a little bit overwhelmed matching up against Canton, and you could just tell that they were not shooting the ball like they are right now. Right now, whenever they go for the shot, they just feel like it's going to go down, and a lot of them are.
And perhaps North might not have had the confidence against Canton, which is a very good team, as Brian Lee hits a three-pointer like it's a layup. All the confidence in the world, but maybe the fact that maybe they were just a little bit intimidated by Canton, I'm not sure, but they're sure playing with a lot of confidence now. As Farmington comes in, Afflerbach can't convert, and Pulaski another big rebound up to Pinella, up to Temple. He'll stop, back to Pinella for a three-pointer, no good. Rebound by another North player in the game, number 23, Damon Hall. Nice hustle by Damon as he fights Gallagher in the corner, and he's going to get called for a foul.
Hall had an impressive showing off the bench in the last game between these two teams. As the Raiders opened up a 20-point lead in that game, Hall got a lot of playing time in the fourth quarter and made the most of it. As we see now, a lot of the North Farmington reserve players have checked into the game. Quisling and Simpson have joined Damon Hall off the bench.
Matt Quisling, number 42, as we see Pinella with a breakaway layup, and he converts. That's 8 quick points here for Pinella in the second half, or 6 quick points in the second half, as North will stay in their 2-2-1 full court press. Coach Dennis Michael calling a timeout to stem the tide as they find themselves down 25 big points with 3:12 left in the fourth quarter, and we're going to take a quick break.
Being on top of the world. Everyone says so.
Good look at the crowd. Again, my name is Jim Franchi, and Steve Young is my partner. North Farmington versus Farmington, intercity rivalry here on TV 10. And it's really not much of a rivalry tonight, Steve. We saw Farmington close the lead in the middle of the third quarter to 1 point as they ran off 9 straight points to start the third quarter. But it's hard to believe it's the same game now as North Farmington is up 25.
And North Farmington has outscored the Falcons 20-3 in the fourth quarter as Buha lets fly from 3.
Jason Buha just checked into the game for Farmington, hit that three-pointer. That's his first points of the game. Quisling inside for the Raiders.
And we've got the Matt Quisling fan club behind us, as soon as he touched the ball, they started chanting his name and got on their feet. And when Matt put it in, they erupted. So
And I think most of those players are probably football players, since Matt Quisling is one of the standout offensive tackles for North Farmington football. As we saw Steve Gallagher take the ball to the hoop, and perhaps that was a frustration play by Gallagher as he was called for the offensive foul.
Barry Regan, number 21, who was also checked into the game with good defensive position. Gallagher didn't like the call, but Regan was set. Simpson! Paul Simpson, number 3, with the three-pointer.
Paul Simpson, a 5'2", 95-pound guard. He's a junior, and that had to be the thrill of his high school career as he just launched it from his hip, and it was nothing but net. So that's nice to see Paul get on the board with a three-point field goal.
Simpson also one of the North Farmington players who was able to take advantage of the time that he got in the first matchup between these two teams, as he was fouled, if you remember, on that three-point shot at North Farmington High School, and went to the line and shot 3 free throws and knocked them all down. He ended up with 5 points on the night.
Well, you look at the pluses in a game like this here as we see the score in the North Farmington huddle. The pluses are that the coaches can both play many of their players that might not otherwise get an opportunity to play in a tight game. So I'm sure, again, as we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, both coaches want to get a good look at what their juniors look like for next year. And they're getting that opportunity tonight. So if we have to look at a plus from the Farmington side, that might be one of them. Have a good look at Matt Fitzpatrick, and he will be back next year. And I'm sure Coach Denny Michael's very happy about that. There's one of our cameramen up there, Mike, who's done a fine job all year long and gets some well-deserved camera time there. Mike's handling, I believe, the half-court camera. Here's one of our other cameramen waving to the crowd. He's done a nice job, too. See if we can get Keith on the other side before the night's over. Farmington will inbounds under their own basket, tipped, and Gallagher gains possession. He takes the ball to the side, then goes back the other way, finds Buha. Oh, excuse me, that wasn't Buha.
Lehner, number 4.
That was Lehner, excuse me.
With the acrobatic layup. Or just fell off the front of the rim.
Regan delivers or dribbles to the corner, finds Simpson for a NBA three-pointer just off the rim. Gallagher with the rebound, finds Buha off one of the North Farmington players. And if our description of the play-by-play here sounds a little frantic, it's because the play is quite frantic at this time. Not a whole lot of continuity by either team. Inside, that was Buha for another 2. He's got 5. Simpson
will full court press here and try to force a Raider turnover.
Barry Regan running the point. He throws it over to number 15 for the Raiders.
Colby Sanders.
Colby Sanders, who's just checked in, and he had a nice game against Farmington the first time too, as I recall. Steve Gallagher distributing at the point. Buha, nice hustle, saves it for his team. Again, Gallagher trying to find the open man and passing up the shots himself.
Lehner drew the foul, but Quisling and his fan club, again, creating some noise in the gym as Quisling swatted the ball away. However, there was some fall with the body.
The Quiz was playing the intimidator there in the middle as he got a lot of Dave Lehner's head along with that attempt to slap the ball away, but no damage done as Lehner fixes his glasses. He'll shoot 2 here as the gym gets quiet. Lehner, a 5'10", 140-pound junior guard, misses the first.
Under a minute left now at 51 seconds. Lead at 25 points in favor of North Farmington.
It's number 34 for North Farmington who saved that foul, and he will get the foul. Number 34 is Chris Ward, a 6-foot, 160-pound junior forward. Nice hustle.
Comey at the line.
John Comey, the junior, will shoot 2. Again, the score is 64-39, and Farmington seems like they've been stuck there at 39 for a while. This is not the way Coach Denny Michael wanted to end the season, is that Farmington will go to 3-17, and North Farmington will go to 8-20 or 8-12.
Nice job by Sanders to get the ball up court. The Raiders will have another layup opportunity. Gallagher with the rejection. A lot of block shots tonight. I haven't seen this many block shots in a game in quite some time.
Quite a few block shots. And as we see Simpson back for North, he finds number 34, that's Chris Ward. And nice to see Chris get in the scoring column tonight for the Raiders. As Comey's shot is blocked by Matt Quisling. 7 seconds left in the game.
Let's see if Sanders can get one off here.
He finds Sanders. He goes behind his back, and that will be the end of it as North Farmington defeats Farmington High School 66-39 in a kind of an up and down game. As we mentioned, it was a tight game early, and Farmington was able to close in the third quarter, and we thought we were going to have quite a second half, Steve, but I don't know what happened, but one thing led to another, and all of a sudden Farmington found themselves down 20 points.
Well, it just shows you how things can really snowball and go against. The Raiders only had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter at 39-31, but the key to them opening up and going on to this 27-point win was early in the fourth quarter when they found themselves with 2 or 3 or 4 opportunities at the offensive end, and they converted each time. That kind of broke the back of the Falcons, who put in a great third quarter and worked the lead down to 8. However, you just can't give a team like North Farmington with some of the shooters that they have that many chances, because eventually it will blow up.
That's a good point. North really seemed to start to feel very comfortable shooting the basketball there right about the middle of the third quarter. Farmington ran off 9 quick points to close it to 27-26, and then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, Steve, some of the North shooters, John Sturts, Mark Temple, found some outside shots, and that seemed to get the whole team in a flow. Pinella started to penetrate a little bit more, and then before you knew it, they were up by 15 or 20. And another key is that they shut down Matt Fitzpatrick for Farmington, and even though Fitzpatrick had 20 points for them, for the Falcons, many of those points were early on in the first half and the beginning of the third quarter. So Farmington just couldn't get the scoring from the middle of the third quarter on, and that spelled defeat for them as they lose 66-39, as we see the score flashed at the bottom of the screen there. Again, some of the leading scorers, Matt Fitzpatrick led Farmington with 20 points. Mark Temple had 15 for North Farmington, and Brian Lee chipped in our unofficial count, I believe, was 13 for North. So he did his steady job off the bench.
And North Farmington had plenty of contributors tonight, and again, they shot the ball well. Lee came off the bench and scored quite a few points, and their leading scorers on the year, Temple and Pinella, also had their usual big games. So North Farmington with a very balanced attack tonight, and on the other side, Farmington primarily, the scoring load was handled by one man, and that was Matt Fitzpatrick. Brian Apperbaugh had a few points on some nice offensive putbacks, but Fitzpatrick primarily was the main man at the offensive end for Farmington tonight.
As we stated earlier, North Farmington finishes their regular season now at 8-12, and Farmington a disappointing 3-17. Both teams, I'm sure, wanted to finish at least 500 this year, but they both had some ups and downs, and both have some good players to look forward to coming back next year on their respective varsity programs. And as far as the next game for each team, Steve, I believe North goes to the West Bloomfield district, and they play the winner of the Harrison-Walled Lake Central game.
Right, that district is being held at Walled Lake Central.
Oh, excuse me.
Farmington is also slated to go there as well.
And we're not sure
what the draw is.
We're not sure who Farmington's going to play, but they're going to definitely have their work cut out for them because it is a strong district with North Farmington, Harrison, Walled Lake Central, and West Bloomfield in the same district. But North perhaps a little bit lucky. They'll catch the winner of the Harrison Walled Lake Central game. So one of those are two very strong teams. They'll knock each other out. One of those two will knock the other one out. And North played very strong against both teams this year, losing by only 2 to Walled Lake Central and by about 10 to Harrison. So I'm sure North feels that they have a chance to perhaps have an upset.
Well, we've got the sign that it's time to wrap things up. So once again, our final score 66 to 39 in favor of the North Farmington Raiders at Farmington High School tonight. This is our final basketball telecast of the 1992 season. At this time, I would like to extend a very gracious thank you to our TV10 crew putting in a marvelous effort so far in this broadcast year. We enjoy bringing you football and basketball, and it's kind of sad to see it end.
Well, we're looking forward to more games next year on TV10, and we hope everyone's enjoyed this season. So for Steve Young and the rest of the TV10 production crew, I'm Jim Franchi saying thank you for joining us on TV10. The final score again, North Farmington 66, Farmington 39.